It's Sami from Sami Sweet Life, and we are talking planner stack. This is covering all the little teeny tiny planners. I'm also talking more about what planners I'm going to be putting in the experimental planner category. We're just going to run through all of it. This is going to be a really long video, so I am going to have timestamps for you guys for this video covering each subject. So sit back, grab a cozy beverage. You can watch the whole thing through, or you can jump around to see each individual section. I do get really chatty, and I spend a lot of time talking about the different sections and what my mindset is for each thing and my thought process behind everything. So I hope you guys get some good tidbits of info out of this video, and it maybe helps you along your journey if you bought 42 planners or whatever like I did. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's go ahead and hop into today's video. Editing Sami here. I am going to chop this video up into multiple parts, and I am so sorry my voiceover sounds like I'm filming it with a potato, but my laptop fan is running at the same time as me trying to do the voiceovers. So if you have seen the part 1, part 2, whatever videos that popped up previously, then you can skip this entire video because it's just all of those parts put together in one video, because I did film this in one big multi-day chunk. It ended up being super long. As you can see, the time on this is 1 hour 18 minutes, actually almost 19 minutes. It's a few seconds off. So it ended up being a massive video. I broke it down, put different titles on it and part whatever along the way, so you can skip this video if you watched all those parts. We are talking about Planner Lineup 2025. It's going to be a chit-chatty type of video. Now, I've covered a lot of thoughts around the A5 size planners, and I've got quite a few that are going to be what I'm calling experimental planners, and these two are some of them as well. I actually have 6 A5 options, so I'm going to just be kind of playing around with them. I've talked about them at length now in 2 separate videos talking about A5, so I feel like my main workhorse type of planner could very well be an A5 size. I just really tend to like that size. And also my sticker sneeze and fun ephemera randomness type of planner is also going to be an A5, and I'm leaning towards the Rosey Life for that one just because I like some of the tracking in the front, which I've stuck sticky notes throughout some of these planners, but these columns are Hobonichi cousin kit sized Hub and Chub Girl stickers, and also Coffee Monsters Co stickers, occasionally other ones too that fit these 1.3-inch columns. So this is like sticker sneeze. I'll show you what I'm doing currently. And then the pages in the back are dated daily pages, which I like for just randomness, ephemera, random journaling, quotes, all sorts of things. So I'll show you how my current sticker sneeze looks. It is a sterling ink, but for 2025 I got a horizontal sterling ink to use in a different capacity. So this is what I have so far for my sticker sneeze, and this is just going to be a very quick rundown of A5 stuff. It's the pink version. The 2025s do not come in pink. I got mulberry for that, but I loved having a pink one the last 2 years. So in the front here, we've got like just sticker sneeze, randomness, stuff left over from kits, some specifically kit things. It just is random. Some weeks aren't even filled out. I've got quite a few weeks lately that have like nothing on them. So here's some from June. Here is August. Like, I have not used this very much recently at all. A lot of these are blank. You know, I've set up some of them. I'll go back and work on some of them, but it comes in and out. Like this week, busy first part of the week, didn't feel like doing anything creative. Dance weekend, I set up. Same kind of deal. Burnt out from dance weekend, set up more stuff. This was Go Wild. Set it up, never filled it in. So these are things I can go back and play around with as I want to, and I do sometimes go back and fill these up a little bit more, but I really like having this. Again, like there's a lot of blanks, a lot of white space, a lot of weeks only dance filled in. It just comes and goes. Sometimes I'm really into it, sometimes I'm not. Especially the beginning of the year, I was super into. You can see like total sticker sneeze. Stella helped me with those stickers, by the way, all these little Squishmallow stickers. But it's just one of those things where I play around with it. I've not really done anything with the fronts very much. This is some Squishmallow gaming stuff. I got also Squishmallow gaming stuff back here. Ephemera, just random stuff. This is cruise stuff. This is dance schedules. This is more Squishmallows, and when I get any sort of like kit contents, I throw those in. Just, you know, we went to the Frozen musical, some things from that, a lot of game type stuff, which you'll see in my video here, I talk more about that. Here's stuff from Go Wild, swatches, just all sorts of random things going here. This is all Go Wild, and the Erin Condren launch was about the same time, so I've got some swatches for that. But like, you know, various things. This was a sticker on a bag. I just took it off, stuck it in here. Labels for things. It's just a bunch of goodness and randomness. Swatches, pen swatches. I talk about things. There's like a monthly kit I received. It's just a bunch of randomness. It gets big and beefy because of all the ephemera that goes in here, and I'm going to do that in the same capacity. I don't know what I'm stuck on there. In the same capacity, still with the Aura Estelle cover, most likely. I want to still do that, so I'm going to probably beef this one up just because I like, you know, this kind of flexible cover, and the dated daily pages are a big plus. I love the clean look of this, so this will probably be my sticker sneeze. And then I have a lot of experimental ones that I will play around with, including the Just Scribble, the Wonderland 222, and the Sterling Ink. I wanted this one so much. I love the horizontal, so this could be to-do listing, daily, just everything in here. For now, these are the ones I have mostly locked down. I will change things here and there as how I'm going to use them, but these are mostly locked down. And I also have my content planner mostly locked down, and then a couple other things I'll talk about here and there. So again, going to be a long chatty video. I'll probably try to put some timestamps in for you guys, but I ended up with quite a few weeks size planners. I've got another pink one, and then actually another Hobonichi one. But all of this beginnings was, I love this one and I wanted it to be my reading journal. Right now, which I'll talk about, I'll bring things in as needed, but right now I'm putting my reading journal in here, and I love the ease of use. Let's see, I've already gotten pages set up in the future, so this is further into November that we haven't touched on yet. But this setup is so nice as a one and done type of system. I've got my to-do listing, my time blocking, some room for chicken scratch notes and things. I got my reflections and weekly actions put in here from my Makselife system. I was franken planning the spirals together, but I thought it was cumbersome. I didn't like the two different papers, like they look different. So I just kind of stuck it in here. I've decorated this, and this is just kind of a lot of work to set all this up, but I'm bringing it up right now, which I'll bring it up again later when we talk about it, but my media log is in here, which I really do like how I have this set up. I have my reading and my gaming here, but I also don't like that if I'm looking for stuff, I have to flip all over this book to find, like, what day did I finish a certain book, or where was I last when I wrote down stuff. So I've got like my Squishmallow and gaming stuff here, books, movies, TV shows, that type of stuff on this side. I just find that I don't have enough room for what I want to do with my reading log here. And then also on the monthlies, I've been doing, this is like my sticker chart when I read. I give myself a sticker, but also when I finish or start new books, I document that in here as well. You can see like these ones are from Coffee Monsters Co. They're numbered. So I find where I am number-wise once I finish a book. So that's my 21st book I finished for this year. I give myself a sticker any day I read, and I'm pretty good about, you know, mostly doing it. Some months look like this though. The Matthew Perry book was a hard read to get through, and we also had stuff going on and just didn't read a whole lot. And then started to pick back up with the Dune. Clearly obsessed with Dune. So far this month, just got into book 5. So pretty consistent. Some months here and there aren't so consistent, but I don't love having my media log interspersed with everything else. And this book's kind of big to carry around the house all the time. You know, it's a big chunky beefer planner, and it's my goals, my media log, and my to-do listing and time blocking all in one. So that's very helpful, but it's a lot of work to like get it organized and then referencing it back. It's a little bit difficult, and I also don't have places to like write in-depth information about the books I finished. So I've been using the A5 half year I started out my reading log with. It was the first half of the year. I started going back to that one and adding in, when I have things to say about the books, I put those in that book. But long term, like, it's not going to be with my stuff. Like, these pages aren't with that book. So it really needs to be a separate thing for me to feel great about it. So when I got this cover, I was like, yes, this is a reading log. I love the look of this one. I'm going to give us some more light here. Hopefully the light's a little bit better. I don't know. I can't tell right there. But this one just, it's actually a page from a book. It was an album, and they illustrated it. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous cover, and it's very mystical, and it's got little creatures on it. And one of my favorite things on this cover, you have to look really closely, those mushrooms, they're giving you some side eye. They have some little eyeballs popping out. Like, I just love the unicorn. I love the different creatures. There's a planet. There's all sorts of florals. It's got the teals, purples, pinks. Like, it's everything. These mushrooms do. These ones got one eyeball. I just love everything about it, and it does give me that like storybook type of vibe because it is actually a page from an illustrated book. And so yeah, this is going to be my reading journal. We're going to flip through this little buddy, and there's going to be pages in here that I want to change quite a bit. So I have some printables, and I will also be able to print other things if I want to. So reading journal, the pocket's going to be in the front, probably on this page, for my most used stickers like I showed. I use a sticker pretty much every day. I give myself a sticker. I want to continue with that on the monthly spreads. So I got the Hobonichi pocket in there. And then I'll fill these pages and the bookend papers, like this page around the folder, and then also this page, and even some of these pages with just reading and book related stickers. I have tons of vinyls. I bought like a big pack on Amazon. I can link to that for you guys. And I picked out some of my favorites. I will sticker these up and decorate them. Now, I won't use this page at all, so I'm going to cover it with the yearly reading goals, maybe broken down by month. I'm thinking like whatever months I'll have to design something and print it out, but I'm going to have like how many books I read, how many movies we watched, that kind of thing, and have kind of a running list of that on this page. And then this page, I want to do a yearly tracker, don't love this yearly tracker. Too much red. I'm not a huge fan of the Hobonichi designs. So I've got lots of things that I printed out, and these are from SaturdayGift.com. And then also I printed things out directly from the Hobonichi website. Some of these. These are the checkoffs for the 365 days. So you can go to the Hobonichi website. They do have these as free resources because the Japanese editions do not have that checkoff thing in the back. It's got all the other cool pages. It has the 100 list. It does not have the 365 day page. So I was trying to figure out why they don't have it, but I didn't find why, but I found you can print them out. So I printed them out. I also printed out the A5 size ones because I have some homes that also don't have it because I got Japanese edition, but I thought I could potentially paste them in here just to see like what days I'm reading. And then also maybe one for movies. I could do one on this side, one on this side. So I don't know. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that, or if I'm going to put a different kind of tracker on the other side, not this page, on this page. So I'm going to cover this page up. I don't love this setup at all. And then moving in, I won't use the December. So I was thinking maybe I could stick little book covers in here as I read books and mark them off. And I was thinking, I counted down here because that's 31. Could be 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, but then I realized one is up here. So it could be 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. I could even like cover them in the side, and that could get me past 50. I'm only on like book 22 right now, so I don't anticipate even needing this whole spread. So I might just start with one and put the little book covers in here. This will be like my books for 2025, since I won't use that December spread, but I will start using the other spreads, and this will be my sticker chart. Basically, I wrote, you know, all my notes on the sticky notes. So it'd be my sticker chart. I could put down here like what I finished or my reading goals or something at this little bottom checklist because there's 4 dots there. And then just when I finish books, I can also give myself stickers when I'm reading, that sort of thing on that page. So that's all of these pages. I won't use January through March, so I'll use through December. I've got January, February, March. Unknown about those pages, probably just leave those blank. And then for the daily pages, I have lots of thoughts. So I kind of want to have a little blurb of what I was reading. I can also track pages or time to listen in some capacity. And then on this side, I'm going to just carry it all the way across, and this will be my little blurb of the day. Like, what did I read? That's where I just don't have enough room on these, which I got to flip back to another reading thing. I just don't have a whole lot of room to be like, wow, I really liked today's reading because blah, blah, blah. Like, finished Matthew Perry's book. So good, but really sad. Like, I want to be able to put more information, and this gives me room for a couple of sentences a day. And then there's, of course, more pages in the back, whereas this one, I filled out all the extra pages. There's extra pages in the back of each month, which I fill them out as recaps and looking forward to the next month, that type of thing. So this one's completely used all of the pages are accounted for, whereas this has the, you know, whatever, 68, 69 pages in the back. That can be for longer things. Like each book can have their own page. And if you're someone who documents a lot or reads tons more than me, a lot of people aim for like 100 books a year. I'm not even close to that, you know, I'm like maybe one, maybe two a month. If you're somebody who reads way more than that, you might need like a week's mega or something like a Sterling Ink. This is a TN, but it's a full year. It has a page per day, so you have plenty of room for documenting everything. But with me, I don't read a ton, so I feel like this is a perfect sizable, digestible planner for this reading log. And then I also, aside from just reading log stuff, I'm going to put my other type of media in here too. I still like to keep track of movies, podcasts. I could be better about keeping track of what YouTube videos or YouTube personalities I'm liking at the time, movies, TV shows, that type of thing, also in here. So in that A5, I was putting in like recaps of certain seasons. Like we went back and watched some Game of Thrones seasons, did recaps in that A5 book. Now I feel like the A5 pages are quite huge, so I don't tend to fill out an A5 page or two, whereas this one I feel like in the back, all the way in the back, I could totally fill out like a page for whatever book I'm reading potentially. Also, some of the Dune books, especially in the beginning, like keeping track of characters and plot summaries, there's lots of different conspiracies and twists and turns and things. It's very helpful to have some paper to write some of that stuff down. So it might be more than just a couple sentences for certain books, but this side will be more of like what I'm keeping track of, listing what I'm actually doing each day, and this is going to be like a couple sentences of whatever I read. And of course, there's going to be blanks, so sometimes it's just going to be not filled out, and that's okay too. So that's how these pages are going to go. And then in the very back, I do want to be better about printing out the little book covers and books with page numbers for review page, maybe movies also, so I'll list them, say what page they are on for any of like the reviews or outlines or ratings. And then here, pages for anything related to reading. Media, book reviews, movie reviews, faves lists, series lists, like the Dune books. There's so many of them. I have a page in my other book with the 6 original books and then all the rest of the books as well. And then also many plot summaries, and I could also do a to be read or recommendations. I have recommendations right now saved in my phone on a little notes app with recommendations from people as I get them. I can also put those in and make it more, you know, formal reading style. So that's how this one looks. I can also write my books in this back. The other things, totally going to ignore. All these other things. First of all, they're completely in Japanese, and I have barely taught myself any Japanese, so I don't know how to read any of this. Could totally use the hundreds list, otherwise ignoring all these pages. And then again, lots of stickers on the back, and I could even sticker up some of these pages I'm not going to look at. So that's my reading journal. I really, really like it. I love the little page. I always call it page something and forget. It's a pencil board, not a page board, pencil board. I'll just stick it in here somewhere, but I just think it's a beautiful one. I knew when I got this one it was going to be my reading log. I just outlined it with the sticky notes and put all the information in. Okay, so that one is covered. So my next week's is not going to be as specific. This one's just going to be for my Japanese practice. I'm teaching myself Japanese through various YouTube things. I use Duolingo a little bit. I like that. I'll probably stick with that a little while. I use Japanese Pod 101. It's a website and you can subscribe to it, but they also have tons of free resources. So right now I'm just making my way through the free things that are available mostly. I signed up for the year of Japanese Pod 101, but I didn't renew it at the time of renewal. I haven't really dedicated much time or effort to Japanese practice, but I want to continue with it. Right now I'm just kind of using a notebook or whatever I have around, but this one I can work on writing practice because, you know, it's totally a different alphabetical system than what I'm used to, so it takes a lot of practice for me to even attempt. So I can work on writing out vocab words or grammar things on the other side, so none of it is like outlined. It just says Japanese practice. That's it. It doesn't say anything else. It's just strictly going to be whatever I'm working on with Japanese practice. It's going to be a lot of writing practice, a lot of grammar practice, writing out sentences, that sort of thing. I don't know if I want to do a sticker chart potentially in here for things, but definitely I want to make sure I'm touching in a couple of times a week and working on some Japanese. And this one's just so beautiful. It's, you know, very Japanese themed with the cherry blossoms. Like one of my dreams and goals one day is to go to Japan and see the cherry blossoms. would love to do that and be semi able to communicate would be great. So that's like the ultimate long-term potential goal, is to get semi-fluent at least, like to where people can understand me. They'll obviously know I'm not a native, but I would be able to communicate at least a little bit in Japanese. So I need some sort of place to work on that practice. So that was short and sweet. And then the next one, my plants one. So this is the first one I actually like dedicated to something. I put some stickers on here. This is just going to be my plant journal. So I recently decided I'm going to be a plant lady. I'm not very great at it yet, but I'm figuring it out. I've got a couple of philodendrons and I'm already writing in this one. So I put stickers in the front. I don't have any of this type of stuff outlined yet because I haven't needed it yet, but I thought I would have some sort of coding system for like watering days, fertilizing days, even repotting days, because I have to do that. Also propagating days. I've already done a little bit of propagation this last weekend, which was so much fun, and hopefully my propagations work, but I'm already using the note pages in the back. So here are my current plants. I also ordered 3 more plants off Etsy that have not shipped yet. Also, I wrote down like all the pretty philodendrons that I would love to have at some point in time, but I'm like, do I want my house to look like a plant jungle? I don't know yet. Not sure about that. And then here is where we are so far. I'm doing this Cornell style. I needed a little bit more room for repotting this weekend. Got October, started November here. I'm just keeping track of what days and what things I water. And then when I repotted them, I mixed their current stuff with a new repotting mix that is aeroid friendly, and it has slow release fertilizer. So I will not have to fertilize them anytime soon. And so we got the new repotting medium, and I only repotted my strawberry shake philodendron and my white knight philodendron. My pink bikini is doing fine. I'll repot her, I don't know, maybe in a couple months, but I'm just outlining that so far in here, and we'll continue to document those type of things. And then like the day-to-day, week-to-week stuff, like I'll be checking on the plants. I'll move plants around as needed. I did end up getting a full-on adult plant checker. You stick it down the soil. It shows you your light. It shows you your pH. It shows you your temperature. It shows you the moisture content. Like it checks all the things. So I'm gonna stick that in the plant's soil multiple times a week and make sure, and I'll write some of that stuff down on these weekly pages. Right now I'm just like learning the system, but I'm gonna be like moving some plants around soon. So I'll put like, okay, I moved it from the kitchen counter to the upstairs, whatever, you know? So I keep track of, you know, if their light's not doing so great, maybe I need to move them back to a different place or try a different place in the house. All that sort of stuff is gonna go in here. And this is purely like, when did I water this plant last? I need to make sure I'm watering it consistently, and I was overwatering, so I really have to be like, oh, I just watered it a couple of days ago. I need to chill and not water it again. So it's just plant stuff. I will not cover this one. I'll just let it rot on the outside, even though it's a very soft cover that already had dings when I purchased it. I'm just gonna let this one get nasty. Now, I do have another pink one that I have not committed to anything yet. And then before we move on to TN size things, I want to talk about the week's planner that I did have all year for 2024. This is my content planner. So here's an example of how I'm using this. I have my own little system, like filmed, edited, uploaded, and live, and then a short clip to go onto Instagram with it. I'm trying really hard to add more Instagram, but I still am not great about that. But I have a page for what's actually going up on the channel, and then what I'm actually doing, what I need to film, what I need to edit, that kind of thing. Notes and stuff, email, communications back and forth with brands and things goes on this dashboard page. And then in the back, it has tons of notes. I did get compact size, so it's only 120 pages in the back, but like I've used, I'm gonna keep this because some of this notes is private. I've used 20 of those pages, so I don't need, you know, 100 more pages. It's a lot. So one thing I found these pages, so like here's a video series I started. I did the first few, I need to do more. We'll go back to that at some point, but I write all those ideas down. And then on these pages, I write what's going on, but I also want to do some Instagram reels and stories and also YouTube shorts. I have not hardly done any of that with the short form content, so I want to do more of that, and I found that it was going to clog these up if I'm putting in what I'm doing for Instagram as well. I feel like, of course, I could fit it. Like, there's still a couple of lines here, but I like the way that this looks. I don't want to like put it here and get it lost. So I'm not a huge fan of this layout for adding any more social media into it. So instead of going week size, I went way bigger for this, and it's going to encompass a lot more stuff. This is a Laurel Denise. I'm going to have to zoom out. This is the Laurel Denise Portrait Planner, and I picked this one because the monthly squares are really, really wide, and I thought it would be great to keep track better of like affiliate launches, because right now I'm keeping notes in here for affiliate launches. Sometimes things get lost. I have to go back and check emails back and forth a bunch of times. I thought I could write it down in a dedicated space for all my affiliate stuff, all my YouTube stuff, all my content, all my short form content, all of that stuff is going to go in here. Also keeping track of earnings better. Like right now, I don't take any tax deductions. We just do my Schedule C. We just pay all those taxes. I don't take any write-offs whatsoever for anything, even when I specifically purchase things literally just to make videos. And I never actually use any of it for personal stuff at all. I don't take any of those tax write-offs. So when I'm buying planners, when I'm buying things for videos, I haven't gotten any tax benefits for that. So I need to be better about that. And I've thought about it back and forth, like I don't want to get audited because I take too many deductions, but also I don't want to just give the government extra money when, you know, I'm actually putting money into this channel. I want to be able to benefit from that. So I thought I would also include expenses and earnings in here as well and have it all in one place. And so that's where this comes in. So here's where I want to keep track better about subscriber counts as well, especially like adding more short form content to Instagram. I just barely like play around with Instagram, but not in a capacity where I'm like making it part of my brand or my YouTube at all. It's just like more fun and family type of stuff. So I want to be able to grow that, and I'll dot pin off video days. Also can write out number of videos each month as well. So I can see this is going to be more just subscriber count and keeping track of what days I actually post. And then here's the calendar. So I did film a whole video talking about all the little post-it notes and things. These are Makselife post-it notes, and I have been using them. So not a month where, okay, so here's last month. So I use these post-it notes, I move them around as far as like collabs. Like I moved this date around because the Makselife launch wasn't a Wednesday. I had to move it to a Thursday, things like that, where I just adjust my normal filming schedule to meet everything. And I move things around. Like if I think, oh, I'm gonna film like a sticker haul here, but my sticker haul didn't come in time, I'll move it to a different place. So these are adjustable. They're the same sticky notes. I just cut them down to fit this planner. So they fit. So instead of cutting them down, I'm like, well, I don't have to cut them down in this wide form. A couple of other things I've also looked at as far as that, like my editorial calendar can go on here around launches and collabs and stuff. But I also thought, I also have this B5, and they will fit in the B5 as well. So that's another option. I could make my editorial calendar separate if I want it to be separate. Do the B5. I also, like I said, I'm going to be grabbing things back and forth. Also, as part of my A5, whatever A5 I use, I could also do that, but I noticed I would have to cut them down for the A5, and this one got stuck. Like if you're not careful and you fold them all down, which if I'm having one on each of these days, I'm not going to be like this and folding it down. It's just going to be stuck and random and get squished. So I'd have to cut them down if I stuck it in whatever A5 I'm using. But then also if they're experimental and I'm moving A5s a bunch, I'm going to have it in different places. So I thought I would definitely maybe do sticker sneeze, which again, the same size boxes, I'd have to cut them down. Or I just go ahead and stick it with all of this. So I'll put in like payment dates for AdSense and affiliate company information. What days I get paid for those things will go on here. Also affiliate launches, meetings, events. A lot of different companies do Zoom meetings for affiliates. They'll do like Instagram lives or YouTube lives. I'll write all of that stuff down in these. Also my editorial calendar could go in here as well. Also projected collab dates. A lot of times I don't take collabs when they're really strict about when things have to be done. The garbage truck or recycle truck is here, so ignore that. We're gonna pretend like it's not going in the background, but I will keep track if they require something on a certain date, like affiliate launches require a certain date, but if a company, you know, sends me something and they expect it up by a certain date, I tend to not take those anyway, but if I do, I'd write those dates in here. And I like how wide it is. It lets me write a bunch. And also I can use any of their sticky notes or the Makselife sticky notes in here, no problem. And now this is the weekly section. So there's a habit tracker and 4 boxes on that side. And then there's a lot of dot grid on the back of this. And then inside these are the weekly spreads. Again, I was showing all of the Laurel Denise sticky notes. So they all fit, they'll work great in different capacities. So this will just be daily tasks, filming and editing days. I tend to like pick 1 or 2 days a week and try to batch film as much as I can. And then I'll pick like, oh, this day I'm not feeling very social. It's gonna be a full-on editing day where I'm just on the computer editing back to back as much as possible because I don't feel like, you know, bubbly and feel like talking at all. Certain things like that. So I'll set those days up. I also can have like a running weekly thing like these videos have to be done this week. You know, that kind of thing. So this will just be like daily to-do listing. Over here, I can do mapping out my month in advance. Like if there are important things coming up, I can make sure I write them here. Also, like forward planning can go back here. And also some of this I'm not going to show because some of it's going to be private stuff. And I have this possibly income expenses list, maybe like income expenses, or that can go in the back. There are some pages in the back. So I'll just know, okay, I'm not going to flip to these pages because it's going to be my income expenses pages and it's going to be strictly just for tax purposes and I don't want to share that kind of stuff, right? So that kind of thing. So far I have never taken a tax deduction at all whatsoever. I did when I ran a stamp company. It's like I have to buy supplies and things for that, but I've never done it for my YouTube stuff, which I should. I'm like years and years into this at this point. We've paid the tax man years and years. I got to get better about having it all documented as needed. But yeah, this is going to be, I wrote it in different ones too. Like this is going to be data driven, not goals driven. Like it says daily habits. I'm not going to make it like a daily habit. I'm going to see what days I filmed videos, what days I do Instagram shorts, reels, whatever, and have it documented. So I'm looking across and be like, oh, I haven't done a YouTube short all month long. I can make sure I try to make that priority the next month and maybe put it in here as like a goal for the month is what I'm thinking. So I really like this way of looking at it. So I can always see my monthly, always see my little to-do listing. I can flip and see any of the little flaps that I need to see at any point in time, but I need a dedicated place for all that affiliate stuff. The more subscribers I've had, the more companies have reached out to me, the more companies I've reached out to. I have to have one solid place to do it. And right now it's, you know, some of it's in here, some of it's on my calendar, some of it is strictly just in the emails, some of it's in like my sticker sneeze planner in the back, you know, it's just all over the place. And I need one dedicated place for, this is all encompassing all my YouTube type of stuff, all the businessy side of stuff, all in one book. So I'm excited to dive into this. I've never used Laurel Denise, but I've had my eye on them quite a while. And going along with that, I may end up finding, maybe I don't have enough notes space in this. There are a few pages in the back, but I might find I need more notes pages. So I'll use whatever dot or grid style planner I'm using. And so I can use other note pages. I'll have plenty of planners in my experimental planners or just a full-on dot grid or grid style notebook that I'll have plenty of room for various other notes and like idea brainstorming, that type of thing will probably go in a separate space just because I don't have a whole lot of room in the back for things like that. Same with like meeting notes. I'll have various Zoom things or email things. I'm not going to have enough meeting notes in this, so it will be separated out just slightly, but like the main guts of everything I want in here. And going along kind of with that, I'm going to have, you know, A5 experimental ones. There's plenty of daily pages I can use in that capacity too. There's plenty of notes pages scattered throughout my system because I do use a lot of planners. So I'm not super concerned about not having enough note space for that. There are some larger sticky notes from Laurel Denise, but also other companies that I can use and just stick in notes and meeting notes in the back. Also, there are like tip-in type of things. So Laurel Denise makes the O-wire version of tip-in pages, but they are kind of expensive because you do have that laminated section that kind of reinforces all of those holes. And then the page itself is like regular paper. And then they have ones called pop-ins that are more like the Erin Condren dashboards where the whole thing is laminated and you use a wet erase. But those are only for the O-wire planners, which are the horizontal planners. And I chose the portrait style planner to use for my content planner because I wanted the wider size boxes, but I do have a horizontal I could play around with as well. Erin Condren has some spiral bound, like clip-in type of things. I'm going to experiment with those, and I'm also going to experiment with just like snipping the like dot sections and trying to push the pages in and seeing if that works to add more pages in the back, because this spiral ring is quite large for the planner size, so there is room to add to it and add in note pages. I can also just like washi tape in note pages on top of the pages that are already existing in the back. So there's lots of ways for me to add pages physically to this book to make it work even better. But I am also okay with just having notes and ideas and brainstorming, that kind of thing, in separate planners. I'll just have to make a dedicated spot. So when I'm looking back at things, I know which planner or which notebook section or which dot grid separate notebook I need to go back to refer to everything. So I think I can make it work. I'm just gonna play around with that portion of things. And that's basically all this is. It's just the monthly and weekly with a little bit of extra stuff. Like there's a little bit of room for notes and things right there as well. That's it as far as content planning goes for now. Now I want to talk about gaming. I showed you guys in my Sticker Sneeze planner I have a lot of gaming notes. I play Stardew Valley, I play Animal Crossing, and I play a Squishmallow Roblox game, which is my current obsession right now. I designed the cover of this. It was just a blank black sterling ink. I cut out some vinyls and decorated this, but I've noticed that this black vinyl is not very sticky, so I'm having some that'll kind of stick off. I did end up ordering a cover for this one, so this one will be clear covered, and also this one will be clear covered because I want it to last all year. Otherwise, I don't tend to buy clear covers, but I did design this. I want it to stay looking cute. It's just, I designed it after the Hobonichi Week's Godzilla cover. I wasn't going to pay $100 for it, and I wanted a bigger version, so this is just going to be my gaming planner. I have some notes written in here. Gaming, maybe other hobbies as well. Like if I crochet and stuff, I can write that type of stuff in here too. I write out like where I am on my project or the steps. It's a lot of like line repeat projects I like to do. Let's see if I wrote any sort of notes. My number of squish, I'm collecting little squishmallows in the game. This could also be a list of hobbies or just a data set of like how much money I have in the game. It's one of those things where it's like, I want to be one of the richest in any of the games. So like Animal Crossing, I'm like making that money, selling those flowers, flower petals and things. Just getting the millions in the game is part of the appeal to me. So that's also part of the Squishmallow game too, is how many squish bucks do you have? Could be that kind of thing on the data page. These will be daily streak, and also what days I play what game. So if it's a Squishmallow day, maybe I give myself a sticker. Otherwise, if I'm like, oh, I'm really into Animal Crossing, I write it, and however many days I play, I keep track of. And then in Squishmallow, you do get a daily streak. It'll tell you your number. I might write in those days. And then summary of how and what I worked on. Also keep track of new Squish releases, weekly stats, sales, purchases, that type of thing. So I do keep track of that kind of stuff already. In my daily Sticker Sneeze planner, there's all these lists of how many things I bought, how many things I sold. I like to buy low, sell high. It's like the stock market. It's just a fun, like super fun thing for me. Also there's fishing, like in Animal Crossing, I love the fishing. Well, there's also fishing in the Roblox game as well. I like that, so keep track of that. And then back here, index, hobbies in pixels, some sort of thing on this page, and then all my miscellaneous hobbies, important things, references for in the game. Also more purchased logs. If this isn't enough room for the week, I can carry those over back here. Also, if there's a crochet pattern, I'll write out the steps in here and like write end day to day where I stop on a pattern. Sometimes it's hard for me to go back to the project and be like, what row was I on? What was I doing here? I do have a hat that I was working on last fall. Picked it up this fall and I was like, wow, I have no idea what I'm doing now. It took me a while to like count the rows and figure out what I was doing. So it'd be nice to have that all in one place. So this is going to be my gaming / hobbies planner. Very self-explanatory, and it does have a page a day. So I feel like it's my wind down thing, is whatever hobbies. If I'm getting back into scrapbooking or card making or Copic coloring, all that supply list stuff will be in here as well. I'll keep track of all of that in here. I just love the little Godzilla guy. So he wraps around the planner. Super cute. Now my camera's getting hot, so it keeps cutting me off, but I just thought he was really cute how I did this. I didn't think of this all by myself. I totally copied the Hobonichi Weeks style. I'm like, oh, I need more space. I want it to be the bigger book. I love get his tail all the way across the back, which is super cool. So love the Godzilla movies. I ended up watching all of the Godzilla versus King Kong whole series. There's like 5 or 6 of those movies. I watched them all this summer, and I really like the Matthew Broderick 2000 something or 1995-ish, I don't know, sometime in my childhood, really liked that Godzilla. That's what really started it all, but I love those movies. I'll go back and watch all the Godzilla movies at some point because there's tons of just Godzilla movies way, way back. So that's on my list, and I love the cover so much. And I'll cover it so it protects the vinyl so it won't mess up. But that's just my gaming / hobbies planner. And then last but not least, as far as like small planners that I have outlined, I'm going to put a disclaimer. There may be more. I will possibly change some of these around, but I've written in this one as well. I wrote into this one last night, and it's outlining some of the things I've discussed here. And this is probably like my most out there weird option. It is my like meta planner. So it's like very, very meta. I'm writing in how I'm doing with various planners. So this is just a notebook about planners, which sounds crazy. It is crazy, but as a planner addict, I jump around in planners, especially if I'm like jumping in various different A5s. Like this month, I'm gonna use this A5. And the next month, oh, I'm gonna use the Just Scribble. Things like that, where I'm jumping planner to planner from month to month or weeks to weeks. However I break it down, I need a place to keep track. Like when I'm going back at the end of the year, I'm like, what planners was I in? Because this planner only has 3 months filled out, the whole entire thing. You know, there's gaps. What planner was I in February? Well, I can go back and look into my planner and see all that information. So I'm calling it my meta planner. Basically document what planners I am using and how things are working out. I can analyze each planner system, productivity, and experiments, challenges that I give myself. Like 1 month I'm going to play around with XYZ planner. The next month I might play around with XYZ planner. I might change up how I'm using each planner. That's all going to go in here. So that's color code for planning days. So basically, like if I'm touching planners, I'm going to color in basically like a yes or no. Yesterday I was using my planners. This day I wasn't. And I feel like on weekends I don't do a ton. At least like 1 weekend day. I don't touch a planner at all a lot of times. So it's not like I'm in all of these planners every single day, and this is going to give me a more widespread, broader look at how much I'm actually in my planners that I'm so obsessed with. And then here, list overarching goals or ideas or challenges for the quarter. Like one of my ideas is to use the bullet journaling system for my to-do listing. Like I see people doing it in all their different planners. They'll have like the little symbols and things. One of my goals is to start trying to use that system and see how it goes for me. I've never really used that specific system, and I see people using it and loving it, and like they'll have their daily page. Like this isn't daily page. Where's the daily pages? It's way in the back. Like they'll use, like this is my daily system. This is my journaling side. You know, I've seen people use it a ton and it looks great, and I want to try it out. So that's going to be like where the ideas or challenges or productivity hacks, I'll try them out and I'll list them in the little quarterly section. And then here I want 2 columns. What planners I start the month with, and then this is any changes. So I'm like, okay, this month I started with the Rosey Life planner. It went south. I changed to this planner. Things like that. And then list any experimental planners across the top. Like, okay, this month I'm going to use my Rosey Life. I'm going to use my A5 Sterling ink, horizontal. I'm going to use the Hobonichi Hone, and then dot pen, which ones I actually use. So not every one, like my content planner is not going to be one of the dots. My gaming planner, not going to be one of the dots, but any of the ones where I'm like, okay, I'm trying out this as my like everyday to-do listing time blocking system. I'm going to put it in here, and I'm going to keep track of what days I use it. And this is not a goal. It's not a goal to use the planner every single day, but a data set. So I'm just seeing like, okay, I reached for this planner way more than I reached for a different planner a different month. So it's just data. Like I said, not a goal, just data set. And I made sure that was nice and big. That's the thing. I'm like, oh, I need to do these things. If I mark 5 or 6 things, oh, I need to do all of these things every day. And I find these kind of things very intimidating. I'll start really good, but then like one of us gets sick, or I just don't use it for whatever reason. It's a busy time and I skip 3 days, and then I was like, oh, what's the point of continuing on? I give up, and then I never go back to these. So I'm really trying to embrace that some days I'm just not going to fill out. I might have like a gray highlighter where I just color in any of the times that are like blank times when I didn't touch planners at all for that week because I was feeling like garbage or we were traveling or whatever. And I'll just like gray that out to know that it's separate from the other data and other planning goodness. So I thought I would try harder to come back to them even when I skip days, because I inevitably will skip days. First of all, I'm a migraine sufferer. Second of all, my daughter's in competitive dance, so we take weekends and go to dance competitions. I'm not bringing 42 planners with me, right? It's not gonna happen. So anyway, keep going on. I'm gonna keep track of any planner changes, goal setting, reflections, and plan with me days. So like if I do my goal setting on a Sunday, I'm gonna write it out. If I don't do my goal setting till Wednesday, I'm gonna write that out and keep track of any planner changes. So I'm like, okay, at the beginning of the month, I know what I was in because I wrote it here. And then I go back, this is January, So I have like the planners I'm in. I decided this isn't working for me. I switch planners on the 12th or whatever days I switch planners. I wanna keep track of all of it here. So like a month later, I can do some sort of recap and be like, well, I was in this planner half the month and then I switched to XYZ planner. It's very meta, like I said, like I'm planning out my planners in a planner. So very meta. And then on the daily pages, log of any planner thoughts and planner loves, challenges, negatives, basically whatever is working or not working that I feel. And it will be a thing where I'm not gonna fill these out every single day. I'm not gonna have actual thoughts about my planners in all of these things, but I do wanna have some sort of like weekly summary or reflection on this side of, hey, these planners worked great for me this week, or oh, I'm getting bored with this planner, or this planner is not working, I'm feeling friction with XYZ part of it. Like a lot of systems, like I'm finding this one was great for my content, but then when I'm trying to like plan out reels and stuff, I find this not to be a great system. I could do all of that in the back pages, but it's not structured at all whatsoever. And so I needed a change for this. Well, I could document those kind of things in here when I'm feeling those friction points and feeling like certain things aren't working, and it can give me ideas for next year. It can give me data for next year. And same with these back daily pages here. Monthly faves and flops. I have an index page here. I could also do miscellaneous pages, lots of different planner related things. Like I want to try the bullet journal system. I'm going to have a spread in the back here writing out the bullet journal symbols and how I'm going to use them and that kind of thing in the back. So these are a lot of miscellaneous pages, and this is where I actually wrote in the planner, which we'll talk about in a second, but I wrote lots of things here. Idea gardens, productivity tips I want to try to implement, experimental planners list, planner wish list for 2026, planners to redate for 2026. So reuse some of the planners. That's going to be a big focus for me next year, is try to reuse some of the planners because I'm not using all of them. Also review each planner that I do use. Also miscellaneous planner topics. If I have idea topics or things I want to discuss, it's going to be hashed out in these back sections, and some of them are going to become video topics. Also, planner launch 2026. I'm already thinking about redating some of what I already have and spending way, way, way less the next time. I'm going to try to simplify it a little bit more because having 6 A5s show up is a lot of A5s, even though, you know, I'm gifted some. I purchased some outright. I purchased some knowing it's a new to me one. It's exciting. It's fun personally for me, but also because certain ones are going to get views. Like, not going to lie, certain planners, they're going to get more views. And that's just the nature of it. Brand new planners, those planners are going to get views. So I know which companies I like to work with, which companies I personally like on a personal level, but I also know what's going to help feed this channel as well. So going into that, I'll have lots of thoughts moving into 2026 in here as well. So this is the page I wrote. I've got to go pick up my little girl here very soon, so I'll end up finishing this video up tomorrow. But here is my November lineup thus far, which we've talked about quite a few of these, not all of them, and I will mention a few other things. So reading media log, showed you guys that media log. My plant journal, also a little week's planner. Health wellness migraine log, my Hone sushi, it's an A5. Japanese practice, cherry blossom weeks. Got evening journal gratitude, it's my Hone cherry blossoms cover. It's really, really pretty. It's the same one, Hiroko Kubota, same designer. And then goal setting wins, it's my Makselife, which we haven't touched on in this video, but I will do it very soon. I'll talk how I'm going to use all those pages. Also content affiliate tracking collabs. We've got World Denise, and I thought also the horizontal monthly I could potentially use, like I showed with the post-it note system. I also have a family calendar, which I haven't covered yet, which we'll talk to, and then gaming planner. And it might also include other hobbies. So I talked you through most of what I have down here. I still need to cover the family calendar, talk about what I'm going to use for to-do listing, time blocking, that sort of thing. That's where the experimental side of things is going to come in. So let's cut to tomorrow and I will film more and talk more about the rest of these. All right, I'm gonna finish up this video. So that really covers most of my planners that are like one subject type of things. I want to touch on a few things off this list. A lot of the other planners for like my everyday to-do listing, time blocking, just keeping track of every type of thing. It's going to be a combination of iCal for timed things. I have been using iCal and it's a great way that my husband and I can keep track of all the family stuff. But I also like having that stuff written down as well. So I use a monthly spread for that, and generally speaking it's just out on my desk, but sometimes it's not exactly the most handy thing because, you know, I'm like in a different room and he's having a meeting and the monthly calendar's in the room where he's having the meeting. It's not exactly the most helpful thing sometimes, but I do love this big Bloom calendar, and these papers are really nice and thick. It's got a few like habit tracky type of things in the front, but I'm just mostly concerned about these. So it's nice and big, plenty of room. Like I have to zoom out to even get it up on the screen. This is a big beefer. So this is B5 and it just dwarfs the B5 because it's so big. So there's plenty of room to write in all the things. It isn't lined, which is kind of a downside, but I think I could manage. Just, you know, I've done unlined ones in the past before, so it's not that big a deal, but I do love this. I love the idea of just keeping this out on my desk or putting it on an easel. For this year, I've been using an A5 Erin Condren. Those little petite soft cover A5s, and it's worked nicely. It's just kind of small. You know, the older the kids get, the more things we've got going on. I try to be pretty social with my friends groups too. So like adding in my mom's nights and all the kids' activities and meetings, appointments, doctor's things, like all the things, the squares, you know, they're like this big versus this whole real estate. It just gets full really quickly, and I haven't really been using it that much the last few months because I'm like, well, I can't fit all my things in, why even bother? And it's not even open on my desk at this point. So I found that I like having that out, but I haven't been using it because it's so small and it's been a big hindrance. I need something big like this. The other option would be if I'm using the B5, these B5 squares are nice and big too. And then it's right with me if I'm, you know, in this one. And those squares are nice and big, and these ones also have the grid lines, so I can do lots of different things in these boxes. So that's my other option as well. And whatever I don't use, you know, if I don't use this B6, I can always redate it. And I called it a B6, it's a B5. If I don't use this B5 this year, I can always redate it, or if I don't use this Bloom calendar, I can always redate it. And it might be a case that I leave this one on my counter, and whatever thing I'm in is like my everyday everything, I might put the same things in the calendar again, just to have them with me at all times and then out on the desk at all times. Because when I'm planning from like week to week, I'm making my schedule, I'm putting my to-do listing down, I'm deciding which days are errand days, I bounce off of that monthly. So I really don't want it only being right in front of my book and having to flip back and forth. I love having it out on the counter, nice and big and ready to see. So it won't be a case where it's like, it's only going to be in one spot. I've been using the EC hourly and I have my schedule showing on that. And that's usually sitting out, this one, the EC hourly. It's usually sitting out so I can see day to day what's going on. For meal planning and stuff, it's just super helpful. So even though I'm not using the monthly, I'm using the EC hourly in that same kind of capacity. It might be a case where I leave this one sitting out, or I use this one, and even when my day-to-day is like an A5, I'll have this monthly completely filled out with all the tasks and things. So I do want to incorporate a monthly back in. It's just to be determined which method I go with for that. And then the last thing I really want to discuss is goal setting. I have done multiple videos about goal setting recently because I franken-planned the first half of the year for my Makselife. My EC Daily Duo is not up here. I have it downstairs because I was actually using it. I was using my Daily Duo. Once it kicked in, July 1st, I started using it, and I found that I didn't want to franken-plan the EC Hourly or the Daily Duo. The paper color is different, the sizing is different. The Erin Condren has one less spiral loop. I'm going to take this one out of the way and we're going to talk 7x9 chunkers. So this is the new Moxie folio, which is great. I love it. I stuck it in here just for this video, but I've been using this for carpooling. I showed tons of different examples of how to stuff this thing to the gills. It's really, really awesome. It's one of my favorite new products, especially from Makselife, but in general, one of my favorite new products. I put it in here for demonstration purposes. This is the 2025, but the thing that's problematic when you're franken-planning these together is this one has one more spiral loop, so it has one more hole on the page. That means this paper is like 1/4 of an inch taller than the Erin Condren paper, which is really annoying, which means the Makselife, you cannot use Erin Condren covers, which you guys know I have tons of Erin Condren covers. This one has some goo on it. I stuck it against like a double-sided tape something. I haven't goo-gonned it off or whatever, but it's hard to stick these two together, franken-planning. And this paper's like bluish toned, this paper's very cream toned, so they just don't look great together. And so I thought, you know, this second half of the year, I thought I wasn't going to move into a Makselife. I will move this all the way out of the way. I was using my Erin Condren. It has lined paper in that Easy Daily Duo, and I've been making my reflections and weekly actions pages because year after year I buy the Makselife and I don't really use the weekly pages. I use the weekly action and goal setting pages, but I don't end up using the weekly spread because I'm bouncing all over the place using tons of different planners. From week to week I change up my planning system. They do have a vertical option that is 1.5 inch for the 1.5 inch stickers, but I prefer the EC. This is a week further in November. I've just got it decorated at this point, but I prefer this one because it has the hours and has the lines, and I really like this. It also is the 1.5 inch sticker friendly columns. It flat comes down to I like their paper better and I like the hourly on these. So when I see just like a plain vertical column, I just kind of don't know what to do with it, honestly. I need the hours on there. And then this horizontal I've tried to make work every once in a while, and I like this section, but I don't like this section. And I'm left with, I don't know what to do with this weekly page when I'm in and out of various planners. What I really just want are these two pages. Like I want a whole book of dated, these two pages, because like the date's right here. I know which week I'm on, and then these pages don't get used. So in 2024, halfway through the year, I just set up my own, these two pages in my daily duo, which I've shown you guys, or even earlier in this video. So I'll try to insert a clip of what I'm talking about. I just make the layout myself. Now I don't love making the layout myself. It's kind of tedious and kind of annoying. It doesn't look as pretty as this page, but then it was on EC paper and I didn't have another giant planner to deal with. Well, clearly I bought one for 2025 because they came out with interchangeable covers and they're really neat. So these ones are a lot harder to clip on and off, but they're so nice. They're like vegan leather, also flexible at the same time. They just are so nice. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna give the Makselife actual big flagship planner one more chance and see if I can use those pages. And I was thinking back, like, what years did I stick with the Makselife weekly pages the best? And it was 2 years back, not this year, but last year. I use these pages no problem every year. It's these pages. I was using horizontal and I was keeping track of my daily wins. So part of the reflection questions are your wins for the week. Reflect on your wins right here. So I was keeping track of like, okay, I did X, I did Y, I did Z. I also worked on this goal, like making a whole long 1 line a day list. Well, I don't entirely love that because if I was like here, I was still trying to think of more things to add. And also some of the things I do are very much maintenance goals. And I will legit write the same things on this page, write the same things on this page week after week after week, like 3 videos a week. And that's my goal every week, even though I've done this for years. I write it down because it's important to me and it's just one of those habits, goals that I want to make sure is still on there. Like I write down power 10. I do like a 10-minute quick pickup during the day. So I write it down. It's just part of the maintenance because if I don't do it, the house kind of gets in shambles, you know? I just keep up with that little maintenance type of goal. And a lot of my goals honestly are that. I'm not like reaching for the stars. I don't have big giant goals. It's just mostly like managing the house so I'm not constantly treading water and I'm not constantly feeling behind on just life in general, right? So my goal page, a lot of it's repeats week after week, but I still like the act of writing them down. I still like the act of reflecting and it keeps me kind of accountable. But when I'm tracking my wins, I don't want to write the same things over again. Like, oh, I practiced this. I played my game, so I had a little self-care time. I did blah, 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 whatever it is. I don't like writing the same thing day after day after day. For a while, it was a couple months or so, and I fell off because it just got to be tedious. Well, for the weekly pages, I don't use this as a weekly planner. I use this as keeping track of my weekly wins, and I also use the Moxie markers in the colors and highlight what category these fall into. So all the 8 colors are in there, plus there's a darker gray as well. So I really, really like the way that the rainbow looked. And I still like the way the rainbow looks. And I think when I did this, it helped me keep my goals setting front and center. Well, I think I can manage it in a different way now. I will link to this video. It is an old video from 2023, but I just wanted to show you guys kind of what it looked like setting it up as the daily wins in a list form. Well, this time I'm going to do it a little differently. I'm going to write down 1 win a day. And again, my whole thing I'm trying to embrace is it's okay that there are gaps. Like on those days where I had like a list and I'd skip like the last 2 lines, I'd be like, oh, I need 2 more things. And I'd try to think of things or I'd try to do things real quick to fill those in. And I always hated there would be gaps anywhere. I still feel that, like, if I skip a few days, I'm going to hate seeing a big giant gap. But I'm going to try to be okay with it. And still, like, this is going to be blank. It's fine. I'll put stickers in it or whatever if I want to. But I'm not going to care that much if it's, you know, half filled out. If I don't get to writing down my weekly wins until reflection day, I'll think back if I can think of any. And if not, I'm going to skip it, right? It's fine. It's not a big deal. I overthink the gaps and have a lot of all or nothing thinking when it comes to planning, even though it's fine. Like, I have weeks. Here's the thing, I have weeks where these aren't filled out and I don't think anything of it. But then when I'm wasting these pages week after week after week, I feel like it's a waste of a planner, even though I'm getting really good value out of these 2 pages. So it's just one of those things that's like, why am I like this? Why do I think like this? So I'm trying to take a smaller approach to using these pages as just goal wins. And it's going to be like a 1 line a day type of thing. Like, today I worked on setting up XYZ on the art wall project I have. So I'm doing 1 thing. Today I just practiced 1 thing on my goals, like my maintenance goals. Today I just did my power 10. If that's all my wins are for the day, that's fine. Sometimes my win is going to be, I went back to bed and rested because I had a rough night of sleep or I had a migraine or whatever it is. Some days it's going to be, I took that rest time instead of pushing too hard, right? So it can just be very minor things. It could be I'm working on a big project around the house and got a major portion of the project done. So I'm taking a very much minimal approach to this. Like, if it gets filled out, it gets filled out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But these pages will mostly get filled out. Pretty much I stick with these week to week. I'm horrible about habit trackers because I'll do like, I'm really excited about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday I get busy, forget the rest of the week. And then I'm like, oh, well, Friday I'm looking at it and like, I don't know what I did Wednesday, Thursday. And then I was like, oh, I can't fill in those days. So I'm done with this for this week. I'll try again next week. And then the next week I have like 2 or 3 days filled out. I'm trying to be better about, okay, I skipped Wednesday, Thursday. I'm going to still fill out Friday. If I skip Saturday, Sunday, whatever. But whatever day I'm here working on it, I'm going to try my best to fill this out. And I think maybe, again, going back to what I was saying about like those big long list habit trackers, I might just gray them out. Like, okay, gray's gonna be my color of, you know what, I skipped these days, who cares? Gray out all these with the gray dot marker and just call it done, you know? So I might have some sort of system where I'm like, this is a big gap, whatever. I'm gonna write some brush lettering in, some quotes in or whatever for those days in like a light gray. So there's something there, but it's not the same thing. And I know I skipped those days and that's okay. Everybody's gonna skip days, no big deal, right? Like if somebody were to come to me and they were like, you know what, I'm really strong Monday through Wednesday, but by the time Thursday rolls around, I forget all about my planner and then the rest of the week is a planner wash. I'd be like, wow, you know what? You stuck with 3 days. That's almost half of the week where you're being productive, keeping on top of your crap, just, you know, knocking out your goals, knocking out the to-do list. You're managing those 3 days really well. That's amazing. You know, I would give that person so much credit for even doing the dang thing even half of the time. And I don't give myself that grace. So again, like these videos, telling you guys all my crazy crap. So hopefully you get something out of it, but it's also beneficial for me to like work through the stuff because I know some of my thoughts are not helpful. If I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm not filling out this page. I'm not going to buy this planner. And that means I'm less likely to goal set, which means I'm less likely to reach my goals, which means I'm less likely to do those maintenance things as well. It just makes no sense, right? I'm going to just fork out the money, get the nice pretty planner, use it as much as I feel like using, or leave those ones blank, no big deal. So this is, again, experimental. I'm going to try my best to fill out these pages with my weekly, daily wins, like whatever one sentence I've got each day. No big deal. So I went back and forth about getting the planner. I ultimately got it because the covers totally sealed the deal for me. That's been one of the gripes I've had actually year over year with the Makselife is I've taken the covers off most years because I don't love having one cover. Like the Erin Condren is so appealing to me because I can just pop this cover on and off. I've got like, oh gosh, I can't even begin to tell you how many sets of covers I have, just like tons and tons for A5 and the 7x9 size. It's just so versatile. I can change it to the seasons. I can change it to my mood, pop them on and off. Same with like the little planners. If I get bored of any particular color or whatever, pop it in a cover, totally different planner, right? So there's so much customizability with this one. I was stuck with whatever cover it was. There was one other company that made like the laminated covers that would fit here, Life. They used to fit here. I don't know if they still do, but that was like the only company you could go with. And I just don't have as many of their covers, so the cover thing wasn't appealing to me. Well, now it is because I have like 5 different covers I can choose from this year. They pop in and out. They're harder to pop in and out. You need, I don't know, like coated sticker tweezers, and you poke each piece down individually and then it's on there pretty good. Like that's not coming off. So I feel like the material is just so nice and luxurious. So yeah, totally changed the game for me for this one. Now the inside of this planner is pretty much a blank slate, aside from like the rainbow print on these parts. You know, these are pretty plain. It's got the little rainbow compass, but you can barely tell it's a rainbow because it's so teeny tiny. It's very neutral, but their neutral is this, the navy-ish gray. And I don't love that. I don't love the tab color. So I would much prefer, you know, more of a rainbow color option for tabs. But I can manage with that because I love the covers now so much. Love the covers. They're so nice. I've been using the Moxie folio with my Erin Condren Daily Duo. I have the EC folio. I do like the clear so you can see the planner covers through it, but it's not very pocket heavy like this one. I can stick everything in here, including like the teeny tiny planners. I can fit tons of teeny tiny planners and stuff in here, which is awesome. So I pack this full, go to carpool, and it's great. But all that to say, all my rambling to say, I'm in a Makselife actual flagship yet again. Last year I was like, as soon as I got it, basically I franken planned it for the first half of the year, and then the second half of the year I DIY'd it in another planner, and I was really thinking I wasn't gonna buy one of these flagships. Like if it had the same kind of cover on it, not been great. I've not been loving the covers. It had the same tabs, which it still has the same tabs. I was thinking I'm gonna do all my goal setting in whatever planner I'm using, right? Well, because I'm using all this goal setting, that's what makes me think I'm not going to do a ton of goal setting in these books because it's going to be a whole lot of duplication from what's in here to what's in here. I'll probably do a little bit of duplicating, like the same goals down these quarterly pages. Where are they? The quarterly list pages. Also the year in pixels pages, but these like quarterly ones, some of these are going to be the same goals as I put in these habit trackers, so I can go back and be like, okay, these days I did XYZ. I can transfer that information in to my daily. Or the opposite, if I'm using this one and I've got the habit trackers filled out, I can come back and fill in this one if I did it the other way, where I filled out the other one. Whatever TRP planner I'm using, I can come back and fill it out here. But I like the idea that I'm building in. It's not just gonna be like blank. You know, I'm gonna use like the light gray, fill in the ones, and that just means I skipped it, and that's okay. Like I write like a gray quote or something, or a song lyric or something to fill in those days. That's great, no big deal. I might not even fill in these, but I like the idea of filling in the dot trackers or those little down habit tracker things. The video is gonna be so long. I just have so many good things to say about each planner. I will end up doing some setup videos, not all, but I'll walk you through, like, once I got each one set up, how they're looking. There's not a whole lot of prep and stuff to do in some of these. Like this one has all the goal setting stuff. I actually don't do the compass assessment. I don't know where it is here. So this is based off 8 categories, which I love the rainbow. I love the 8 categories. I was changing this fun and recreation section to scrapbooking, but I haven't actually been scrapbooking. So it's like photo organization right now, but I think I'm going to change it to like planner decorating and Copic coloring because I want to incorporate in more stamping and stuff. So it will end up changing to be a different fun and recreation. And then I use personal for more like hobbies, personal goals, fun planner things. Probably both of these sections is going to be mostly fun planner things and gaming stuff. I put reading in with spiritual and personal growth. I'll do meditation and reading in that section. This is the teal aqua section. But you can change them how you want. I just don't love the questions. They don't always apply to the way I'm using some of the groups. But I'll fill out these. I'll come back and tell you guys my annual goals. When I set up other planners, I'll sticker this puppy up and start setting up some of these pages. I'll come back and either walk through it with you guys or set it up on camera with you guys. So you can look forward to seeing those individual setup videos where I go a little more in depth here and there. But I feel like this video I went super in depth in lots of categories, lots of different planners. And so I have lots of like one-off little mini planners, but I don't have a whole lot of big ones that I'll use at the same time. So as far as like these A5 size ones, I'm gonna, have one main planner for to-do listing, time blocking, all that regular planner plan stuff, and not duplicate a bunch of stuff. Anyway, hope you guys liked this video. I hope it gave you some nuggets of info here and there. I still want to know what you guys are up to. I want to know your planner plans in the discussion down below. If you have little extra planners, I want to know what you guys are using in those different like one subject type planners. And what's your main squeeze planner going to be? That's still undecided. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm thinking, back and forth. I go back and forth. I'm thinking this one's going to be like time blocking type of stuff, the main family calendar. And then these columns are really nice for time blocking. So I think this is going to take place of my EC hourly, potentially also my daily duo, because there's plenty of room for like a to-do list. Like here's 7 p.m. I'm not going to have hardly anything ever past 7 p.m. So I could totally mark this off. And this is my to-do list daily duo section. This is my time blocking section. And I can put in my hourly stuff with my time blocking. And right now I'm not doing that. I'm using the time blocking on the daily duo with the hourly. So these get planned out like once a week. Every once in a while I'll add more things to it. But a lot of these weeks, I don't do a whole lot extra. Like I'll set it up and very few things change. So it's kind of blank. Some weeks I don't have a whole lot going on as far as like appointments and things. I switched. This used to be like a meal planner where I'd plan out a few recipes a week. I'm doing that in a separate planner, which is a sprouted planner right now. And I will go back and redate empty pages in that because I do have weeks I haven't meal planned. I also will do this where I'm like, okay, what are my main to-dos of the week? And then I usually don't do it because I'm using that daily duo. It has tons of to-do listing space. And I don't tend to need it. So I just use this as it's sitting and I see like the main things of the day. Like I'll sit down with the meal planner and be like, okay, this night I'm going out. It's going to be a takeout night where I order pizza for everybody, or I'll make sure we cook something here that's going to have easy leftovers the next night. Things like that. Like tonight we're going to a birthday party. I know dinner's covered, right? So I will refer to this when I'm like planning out my errands day. Like, hey, Friday's a completely easy, empty day. I know that can be a really easy errands day. Things like that. I can plan out my to-do list based on this, but I don't do the to-do listing on here very often at all. And so these are kind of blank, to be honest. Like, I've got the main things going on and that's it. Not even in this one. I don't think I have much. Like these are busy because I went back and planned out our vacation, what we actually did. Like, didn't even use it this week. Hardly at all. And that's the beginning. So I've been using the EC hourly in this capacity with a little tweak here and there for, gosh, like over a year and a half, maybe 2 years at this point. So this is very functional for me, but also I'm not using it to the best of its abilities. I could totally put my to-do listing stuff also in here. And if I do it this way, I can still have my time blocking. I'll cut it off at like 7 p.m., maybe even 8 p.m. I can have my to-do listing down here and my time blocking stuff up here so I can see all the same hourly stuff, but it has more room. And this one also has a lot more lines, not lines, but grid pages in the back. There's 120 something pages in the back for that. So it's definitely a smaller form factor. It's taller, but it's so much skinnier. Look, it's taking the place of 2 of these. And these are, you know, filled to the max. This one will get fluffed up because I'll sticker it and stuff, but the sizing difference is incredible. So it's this plus another one like similar sized, you know. 2 big chunker munkers is going to be replaced with 1 skinny. And I think that's awesome. So I'm definitely excited about trying that. Getting rid of 2 big chunky ones, although I love the Erin Condrens. I love the covers. I love the functionality. And I might find I missed this blank one. So this one goes through the end of 2025, all the way to December. So I might find I miss it and I come right back to it if this one doesn't work out for any reason. So I'm kind of getting bored with my current system because I have used it so long. And so I'm excited to switch it up a little bit, try this one out, try out some A5s, and see how things go. I'm just kind of experimenting with that portion of it. I've been in this system so long, the sticker sneeze, the easy hourly, also the daily duo. I was using a different to-do listing method with an A6 Hobonichi Home, like a really cute small one. It has sea dragons on it. It's so cute. But I've been in the daily duo now for a while, and I want to kind of change it up. This is where I get like planner boredom, whereas these ones, like let's say the plant one's not working out the greatest, I'll still use this the whole year. I won't change out these kind of ones. I'll be committed the whole year. But my day-to-day, what I'm using day in and day out, I'm touching this planner pretty much every single day. Those ones I get bored with easy, and this is like the longest I've stuck in one. I've used it now quite a while, and I'm kind of getting bored of it. I want to change it up and see if I find something I like a little better. That's where this whole part's going to be more of the experimental part, whereas these ones I've got nailed down. I may change and add a different couple of mini one subject planners, but the to-do listing stuff, lots of planners still in that experimental section where it's going to be like my everyday calendar, my to-do listing, all the day-to-day things I need to jot down to get things done. That's all still up in the air. So I hope this gave you guys lots of ideas. It was a very long video. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow me along. I'll have more like individual planner videos, like I said, walking through some of these one subject things when I set them up. But that is it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a great day and I'll catch you next time. Bye! So I just totally got distracted. So out this window I can see one of the main roads in the neighborhood. And I have a very bright blue Honda Pilot Trail Sport. The Trail Sport is the only model that comes in this bright blue. I'm gonna insert a picture for you guys. This is totally off topic. Not that we haven't rambled enough. We're gonna ramble again. Totally got distracted because there is one other one in our neighborhood. Their kids carpool to school, so I see their car every once in a while, and it just drove past. I'm like, oh, I want to know who it is and where they live. Like, I'm gonna be that crazy person like flagging them down one day, like, hi, blue car. I want to know who you are. I've only seen a few in Austin in general because it's just one model of a Trail Sport and it only came out. 2024 was the first year and 2025 is the second year. But I was drooling over this car. We've had it about a year now, and somebody in the neighborhood got one sometime. I don't know exactly when, but they had it beginning of school because I saw them day one of school. Like, I need to know who they are, and they're driving really close to our house, so they're definitely in our neighborhood. I just don't know how close they are to us, and I've not seen it in anybody's like driveway or garage or anything. I just want to know who. So when they drove by, I was like totally distracted. So I'm like, oh, it's the other Bluey. Anyway,